In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to add fractions. So let's say we want to add 1/2 to 1/3. First thing we need to do is find the common multiple. So I'm going to list the multiples of each denominator. So the multiples of 2 would be 2, and then 4, 6. Multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, and they keep going and going. But I'm stopping at 6 because 6 is a common multiple to both of these. It is what is called the least common multiple, or the smallest common multiple, the LCM, least common multiple. Well, that least common multiple is going to be our new denominator. So what we want to do is we want to create a new fraction with the least common denominator, or the least common multiple in each denominator. Well, to do that, what we then do is we multiply the fraction 1/2 by another fraction so that the denominator ends up being 6. Well, what would we have to multiply 2 by to get a 6? Well, we'd have to multiply it by a 3. So we then multiply the numerator by 3. We always multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number, because what we're really multiplying by is 3 over 3, which is 1. And so we end up with 3 over 6. We want to do the same thing here. We want to multiply by another fraction such that the denominator is 6. Well, that is going to be 2. Multiply by 2 over 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Now that we have the common denominator, which is the least common multiple, and the new numerators, we can then add those two fractions together, and we simply take the numerators, 3 plus 2 is 5, and we put it over the denominator. And that is how you add two fractions. Let's just try one more example here. So let's take something that's just a little bit more difficult. Let's say we have 3/7 and we have 2, and we want to add that to 2/4. Well, once again, we're going to look for multiples of 7 and multiples of 4 until we get to the least common multiple. So multiples of 7 would be 7, adding another 7 is 14, then 21, then 28, and then 35. But I'm going to stop because multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. There we go, 28 and 28. So, just like we did before, we want to multiply each fraction by some other fraction so that we get the least common multiple as the new denominator. And so 7 would have to be multiplied by 4, and so the numerator is 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 7 times 4 is 28. Here we would have to multiply by 7 and 7. 2 times 7 is 14. We can then add the numerators. 12 plus 14 is 26 over 28. And that is our answer. It is not simplified. I'm not getting into simplifying fractions because I don't know if whoever's watching this has done that yet. Let's just do one more example and we'll call it a day. So let's say we have 3/8 and we have 1, let's say 1/4. Well, we want to look for common multiples of 8 and 4. Well, in this case, we know that 8 times 1 is 8, and then 16, but we don't even have to go that far because 4, and then the next number would be 8. We already have our common multiple. So we're going to multiply this by something to get something with an 8 in the denominator. And this we're going to multiply by something to have an 8 in the denominator. Well, this would be 2 over 2, and this would simply be 1. 3 times 1 is 3, 8 times 1 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 4 is 8. We add the numerators together and we get 5 over 8. All right, that is a very, very brief lesson on how you add fractions.